Now, many of you out there may be watching France 24 now on your smartphones, but if there was ever a day to put that cell phone away, it just might be today. For more on why, we're going to talk to our Solange Mougin, who joins me on set. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Jeannie.
Are you ready to put away your cell phone?
I am absolutely not ready. As I will freely admit, I'm quite addicted to this little thing, and it's very powerful, but I am addicted to it. However, today is World No Mobile Phone Day, and its purpose is to get us thinking about the increasingly present place in our lives that smartphones have. Now, why is it celebrated on February 6th? Well, today is Saint Gaston Day. And in France, there is a very famous song by a very much loved singer, Nino Ferrer, called Téléphone. And the refrain is Gaston, y a le téléphone qui sonne et personne répond, which translates to Gaston, the phone's ringing and nobody's answering. Let's take a listen to that 1967 song and its music video.
Y a le téléphone qui sonne et y a jamais personne qui répond.
Now, with that song in mind, a French author, Phil Marceau, he decided to create in 2001 La Journée Mondiale Sans Téléphone Portable, or World No Mobile Phone Day. Of course, mobile phone use has exponentially grown since then and since the early days of cell phones, which were actually invented by Martin Cooper, the director of research at Motorola in 1973. And for the 50th anniversary of that milestone, the World Economic Forum with Statista did a study on the number of phones right now. And they found that there were, as of 2022, 8.5 billion cell phone subscriptions in the world, while the population then was 7.95 billion at the time. Most of those cell phones are smartphones, and Statista found that the growth of the use of them is expected to increase by 42% from 2024 to 2029, with an estimated 6 billion smartphone users by then, and potentially it could even be more.
That's crazy. Solange, already we have some new figures about cell phone use and screen time. Tell us.
Yeah, every year the Data Reportal, it's a company, comes out with a report of where we're at when it comes to screen use. And they released their 2025 report yesterday. It's based on 2024 numbers. And they found that of the 8.2 billion people on the planet, 70% of them have a mobile phone, and nearly just as many, or 5.5 billion people, use the internet, with almost just as many having social media profiles. Now, in regard to who uses their phones the most, well, the data shows that there isn't much difference between men and women, but there is, of course, a difference between generations, with younger people on their phones more than older people. And there are also big differences when it comes to nations. We'll get to that in just one second. The global average of time spent using the internet is, according to this report, 6 hours and 38 minutes a day, and that's remained relatively steady in the past few years. But that's the time spent on screens overall, so it includes computers and smart TVs. When it comes to mobile phone use or mobile screen use, the global average time is 3 hours and 46 minutes, or 57% of the time spent on the internet of all screens combined. So what nations get sucked into their phones most? Well, a number of companies have made some pretty nifty graphics on this. And this one that we're about to see, there we go, is from last year's data, as this year's was just released. But it nonetheless shows that South Africa, Brazil, the Philippines are the biggest phone users, with over 5 hours for them. Now, this is often due to the percentage of young people in these nations, access to computers and TVs, and even steady electricity flows or not, a number of remote places. As for those that spend the least amount of time on their smartphones, Japan gets the top prize, and here too we must take into account their aging population. In Europe, Denmark has the lowest screen time, and Portugal has the highest. As for France, well, we're at an average of 2 hours and 34 minutes of mobile screen use per day, and 5 hours and 26 minutes overall behind a screen. So that's about a third of our awake time.
That really is a lot of time. I mean, what kind of effect is this having on our lives and on society?
Well, that is really the big question with many unknowns. And there is a whole body of research about this that's emerging. We've all heard about the devastating effects of too much screen time and how it can hurt the development of kids, with examples of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates not letting their children use smartphones at home. Those are cases in point. Many of us have also heard of phubbing or snubbing a loved one because you're checking your phone, or nophobia, a fear of not having a working phone, like when you're freaking out that the battery is low. And increasingly, there are alarm bells about phone addiction. Our smartphones are designed to reel us in, creating a dopamine dependency on them. And they do not only potentially create adverse health effects, but they also create mental health effects as well, including anxiety and insomnia. And in this month's Atlantic, there was a fascinating article by Derek Thompson, and he argues that the presence of phones and tech, and before them TVs, well, they are creating an antisocial society. And that is having an effect not only on our lives, but also on our politics, as we become less used to really interacting with the complexities and differences of real people. That while we may be used to social media interacting with others, that does not replace the real thing. That perhaps some of us are so plugged in and so addicted that we may not realize it. Hence this idea of taking a break, even if it's not for a whole day, a few minutes at a time can have its benefits.
Hey, it's just one day a year. I think we can all make a little effort. I'm going to try when I get off the set. All right, thank you for that, Solange Mougin, for that look at No Phone Day today. Next for you, he is small, he's cute.